The Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by the amazing selection, inventory of bar stools at Miskelly Furniture. Also, the purple mattress from any of the Miskelly sleep stores, which I slept on last night, and I loved it. Back in town from the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook. Bet $50 there. Play award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club for $30. I stopped in Carthage on the way home yesterday, on the way back, and I went through the drive-thru, and I ordered a cheeseburger. And people are very, very excited about it. On the Ag Up Equipment text line, 601-885-3776. We want to hear from you this morning. Where are you listening from? Like, I'm outside of Yazoo City in a deer stand. Or I'm here or there. We want to know where you're listening from. 601-885-3776. Jason?
Oh, no, I mean, I was just thinking if somebody is in the deer stand, set one aside for us. You can kind of, lay one down, set it aside for us, and then get your own. It could even be a doe. I'll take a doe.
Yeah, no. I want some more deer meat, so I'm game on that for sure. Like I told you, Wendy had already cooked some, had soup going, and was slicing and dicing it to put in the soup when I left on Sunday. I don't know if it's still in the fridge or not because we ended up getting Soulshine yesterday for a little family Christmas get together, and yeah, it was good. It was good. You mentioned the Soulshine in Gluckstadt. Good for them. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Jason also asked me if I'm into casserole season.
Yeah, diving into casserole season.
We just did that in Thanksgiving, though, right?
Oh, well, once it hits November, I don't leave casserole season.
Yeah, I'm not even sure you leave casserole season, period.
Well, does poppy seed chicken count? Because if that counts, then I'm always in it.
I kind of think it does. Well, is poppy seed. Well, you just said casserole, right?
Yeah. Well, it's just poppy seed chicken.
Oh, poppy seed chicken. But we're
called.
asking, is it a casserole?
Right.
Okay. So we need to officially define it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if so, I'm always in it.
Let's ask our listeners, is poppy seed chicken a casserole? What was it, like a lot of cheese and pasta? I don't even know.
So
I'm not a poppy seed chicken guy.
It's got like sour cream in there.
God!
It does have cheese. It comes topped off with like breaded. So it's like Ritz crackers.
Oh no!
A mixture of Ritz crackers and butter on top.
No,
and it gives it that golden brown.
No,
it's delicious.
That's 1972 eating.
That's pure gains. That's if you want to raise a linebacker, you give him that.
Okay. No. So to answer your question, I'm not. I wasn't thinking about that. Or I'm. But that does sound like a casserole. Let's ask our listeners: is what Jason just described, his poppy seed chicken recipe, I guess, is that a casserole? Text line 601-885-3776. Driven by your next John Deere tractor at Ag Up Equipment. Your SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue, the official healthcare provider of the Out of Bounds Show, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. See, I love chicken as chicken.
Okay.
I don't need a bunch of sour cream, and it just sounds very soupy and casserole-y, and I don't need that. I just like chicken on the grill or chicken in the oven, and then maybe a veggie on the side, like broccoli.
Okay, green beans.
Mushrooms. Or, a phenomenal salad with fresh tomatoes. I mean, that sounds great.
Yeah, right. I'm more of a poppy seed chicken and a glass of milk kind of guy for dinner.
Oh God, that
give me those. Give me those two. If you
still eat like you're 12.
Well, I think that people think it's weird to have milk with dinner. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't. You can't ever figure out, is milk good for you or not? I mean, they go back and forth. So, Wendy, I guess once we had kids, she started buying organic milk. I will, pour a little glass here and there. especially if I get up at 2 in the morning, or
Yeah.
every now and then on the weekend. Maybe, I guess, if I pair it with some kind of chocolate something. But I'll be honest, Grand Marnier or White Russian's better. But
What? That's not in the same conversation.
why?
Because you can get milk at a farmer's market. That's the best place to get the milk, actually. If it's from, say, Raymond, Mississippi, or Florence.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's really organic. I'm not sure if, what we're buying in the grocery stores is actually organic. This texter says it's a casserole. Poppy seed chicken is he says boobs. I don't know if I can say the other word. So Mr. DX says cream of mushroom. No, thank you. He loves messing with me on this. Let's see. I consider it a casserole. My sister makes the best. That's from Brad. Okay. What else do we have here? If it doesn't have tater tots, it's just a casserole imitator?
Yeah, see, I don't know about that.
So is he talking about tater tots in with the poppy seed chicken?
Well, I think he's talking about tater tot casserole.
Oh, tater tot casserole.
But
I don't even know if I've ever had
There might be some other casseroles that include tater tots, which I'm also down for.
Yeah.
I'm not turning that down.
That doesn't sound awesome to me. It kind of sounds like 1986 Chef. What am I trying to say? Chef Boyardee or whatever?
Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, Boyardee.
Like with the can rolls?
Yeah. I mean, how bad was that?
That was a good commercial.
It was a good commercial. And it was also back before we had 700 channels and phones. And so you could actually penetrate and make people remember a commercial like that. Okay. So hold on, what'd you say again? Poppy seed chicken. Would that be like the Vanderbilt of football?
Oh, that's disrespectful to poppy seed chicken.
Okay, let's walk that back.
Now, Nick on the text line said something funny that I can't completely disagree with. He said poppy seed chicken is something an old lady brings to your house after your papaw dies.
I think that's right.
So I can't, but that doesn't mean it's not good. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
And all I'm saying is, if that's
you
a
like
casserole,
stuff that's really thick.
I do like a good. I like a heavy meal.
Yeah, you like a heavy meal.
Not all the time. It does.
Like you would never eat let me think. A grilled chicken salad?
I could tell
dinner?
I could tell you the last time I had a chicken salad, like a grilled chicken salad for lunch, and it was 3 months ago.
Okay.
And it was at local. Now it was good. It had chicken and steak on it. It was good, but that's the last time.
Oh, you doubled.
Yeah. Well, they have a salad that gives you grilled chicken and grilled steak.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so that's what I went for. But yeah, that was September. So I remember the last time I had one of those.
Okay. This guy said, let's talk about Rashad Mendenhall. Do you want to do that?
I think that is the guy. I'm pretty sure that's the guy on Twitter who said that he's tired of white guys that don't know football commenting on football. And he was the guy that said,
okay, I was like, I was trying to think, did he play last night? I don't know.
No, he was the guy that said, let's have a football game where it's only white guys versus only black guys. That's what he said on Twitter. And the tweet.
Boy, that didn't get everybody going, did it?
Yeah, the tweet got 38 million views.
Did it really?
Yeah, within 12 hours.
Okay.
So
let's counter this with some good audio this morning.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Charles Barkley, this is so good. I don't even know where this was. Oh, it was Doug Gottlieb. And so Barkley is talking about Larry. He's telling Larry Bird stories. And this is absolutely delicious and much better than poppy seed chicken. This is Barkley on Larry Bird.
I always tell the story about Larry Bird. I remember him, he was cursing under his breath. And I asked him, I said, Larry, what's going on with you? He says, you guys are being disrespectful to me. And I says, what are you talking about? He says, you guys are putting a white guy on me. That's disrespectful. I just started laughing. I had no comeback when he says, it's disrespectful when y'all put a white guy on me.
Larry said, I'm insulted that they would put a sorry dude like you on me. He said, no, I don't even want to play no more. He would drop the ball and take a turnover. And I'm looking at this guy like, he's nuts, you know?
The story goes that when he played against Denver, they had a guy named John Hansley, a white guy, really good defender, right?
Okay.
They put him on Larry, and Larry was wearing his ass out.
Absolutely.
And Larry would run by the bench and tell Doug Moe, who was the coach, get him off me. That's disrespectful. Put a black guy on me. Because when he played back in the day, that's all he played against was brothers.
How about that? So that started with Charles Barkley. The second guy was Dominique Wilkins, and the third guy, I don't know who it was. I recognize him, but I couldn't pull it this morning. It's just I will, and hopefully before the end of the show, I know who he is, and y'all know how much I loved the hoops and NBA and college basketball in the 80s, and I can go wherever you want. Adrian Dantley, Bernard King, Alex English, wherever you want. Sidney Moncrief, Iceman George Gervin. You don't want. It's like Larry Bird on that guy they just described. I will leave you in the dust. But that was pretty funny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Barkley and Dominique Wilkins in the third dude talking about how Larry said, "Don't put a white guy on me, put a black guy on me."
And that reminds me of that story in Showtime when he's playing in jeans and giving people absolute buckets.
Oh.
Like they do a good job in that show too of just like his tenacity and his grit.
Yeah.
Like, now that's an Indiana guy.
You just described. You just went there. We've talked about this with Larry Bird. You said tenacity and grit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, are those the exact words that you've used before?
Well, no, that's just it's funny. Some people say that's how we describe white athletes.
Okay, fundamentals, tenacity, and grit.
We can't help it.
That's okay. That's a good.
You
point.
didn't use. I think it's funny. You didn't use athleticism.
No.
You didn't use. I don't know. Insane. Vertical leap. But I was quick twitch.
Right.
Athlete.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not that tenacity and grit is wrong, but I see your point that I didn't mention his athleticism or
I thought it was funny.
His ability to shoot threes.
Yeah.
Or what about that game?
Well, his ability to pass the basketball was incredible. I mean, here's what made the whole thing. Obviously, Magic playing point guard at 6'9" was unicorn. But Larry's ability to play multiple positions, he wasn't a point guard, but he could handle it, and his vision on the court was filthy.
Oh, yeah. Well, what about that game where he scored more than 40, mostly using his left hand?
Yeah, and there was a game he had over 60, too.
Jeez. Now, that is absolutely insane to me because you don't really have – well, I guess you do have those guys now that are that talented that could maybe try something like that, but the talent level of everybody else is so high that you wouldn't dream of trying something like that in the NBA.
But Larry and Magic were more into assists, too. And
right.
It's just not quite – it's not as much – but there are some in the game. That will go that way. Anyway, I thought the audio was great. Larry Bird telling guys, don't put a white guy on me. Your reaction on the Ag Up Equipment text line, 601-885-3776. Mr. DX says, hard worker, overachiever. Yeah. No doubt. All right. I've got some numbers for you on recruiting. You want them?
Yeah, let's hear them.
Okay. So we did this years ago, Jason. It drove people crazy. People got mad at me because of what the numbers said, which was funny. So back in I don't remember the exact year, but we had moved to Pear Orchard. So it's got to be around, I don't know, 2012, 13, somewhere in there. We ran the numbers on the top recruits in the state of Mississippi for the last 10 years. And how many of them, ended up being legit SEC starters, how many of them role players, how many of them were bust. Well, somebody else did that, and they reached out to us. And they did the top 10 recently. They did the top 10 over 10 years.
Okay.
and it was almost 40% were bust or just role players.
Wow.
See, that doesn't surprise me. But, I mean, because we think of, I say this all the time, Jeffrey Simmons and A.J. Brown. Okay?
Well, yeah, of course.
All right. And there are a bunch of dudes that are either number 1 or number 2, 4, 7, 8, 10 that just don't pan out. So there was a guy who listens to the show, and he ran the numbers, top 10 over the last 10 years, 247 Sports, almost 40% were bust or just role players.
That's pretty incredible when you think about the amount, because we overhype everyone coming out of high school.
Well, especially the top 10. What I'd like to know is how many of between 10 and 30 ended up becoming starters. You know, how much juice and value are Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and other schools getting? I guess Southern Miss too, but are getting the value, the juice, everything you can from guys ranked from 10 to 30, 247 Sports. And are we building more depth? I mean, I think high school football is better. I mean, it's got to be. People are doing the strength. There's more money. We were behind Alabama and Louisiana. We've come a long way the last 10 or 15 years. There's more money, strength and conditioning wise. There's more coaches on the field. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Used to, when I was growing up, you had like 4, right? Now you got, high schools have 8, 9, 10 dudes. A lot of these high schools around here have dedicated strength and, you better have dedicated strength and conditioning coaches. Can you believe that? Usually it was the middle linebacker coach who had no idea about form and, what you needed to do and so on.
True.
But so that's what I just gave you a job. We want you to do that for us.
I could do that.
Yeah. Put together some numbers for us. And not right now.
Right.
But in the next day. And I want to see the last 10 years, 247 Sports, 10 to 30.
And see, and so the criteria is if they became starters in the SEC?
Yeah. Or, well, we need to set that. Well, just put if they became a starter in P5 or G5. If they became a starter at Southern Miss or Troy, that's still awesome, right? If you're the number 24, look, John White at MRA. He's like number 42 play. He's obviously a top 15 player in the state of Mississippi. That's dumb. So 247 Sports or On 3, or I guess if Rivals still does it, it's ridiculous. So, Snoop Connor.
Right.
He was outside of the top 30. 247 Sports.
Yeah. Where was Isaiah Woolard?
How about Benardrick McKinney, 10 years in the NFL? See if he was ranked in the top 30. From 1A Roosevelt. So, this year is interesting. There has been a lot of arguing, both on this text line and other spots, that you could move a bunch of the guys in the top 10 down 3 or 4 spots or up 4 or 5 spots. Could you make that argument every year? I don't know about that, because the Jeffrey Simmons, A.J. Brown year, we knew who the Unicorns were. They both stepped on the field. They were starters day one. That's not easy to do. So it's not realistic to compare everybody to A.J. Brown, who started day one, and Jeffrey Simmons, who started day one. Fair enough?
Yeah, true. Benardrick McKinney was 22 in Mississippi.
22.
He was a 3-star, ranked 22, and yeah, obviously you know how he did in the league.
Yeah, he made a lot of money, and was a nice draft pick and did well for the Texans, and may have bounced somewhere else, Jason, before the end of the deal. But he looked like the Incredible Hulk. But that was Dan Mullen, seeing somebody, I think he was playing quarterback at Rosa Fort and playing both ways because it's 1A, don't have any money at that school, and so on. You still got to find those guys, but you got to sign the big boys, and you got to know who they are. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell you for sure if there's any difference today between the number 2 prospect, number 8 prospect. I don't know. We've been looking at those lists the last week. Tomorrow's signing day. These guys, most are going to sign tomorrow. There could be some signing into, Thursday and whatever. But I thought that was interesting that it was right at a 40% bus rate the last 10 years, top 10, 247 Sports in Mississippi. I want to get your thoughts on that on the John Deere Tractor Ag Up Equipment text line, 601-885-3776. Also, do you think we're building more depth? I'm curious. I mean, do you believe that our 10 to 20 is better than it was 10 years ago? Do you believe that our 10 to 30 prospects are better than it was 10 years ago? Do we have the proof? Do we have the numbers? I mean, I hope we are. I hope we're building depth. We're never going to be Louisiana, and that's fine. We have really good athletes, really good football players. We don't have the population Louisiana or Alabama. Hopefully we'll gain some ground. This is a great place to live, amazing quality of life. North Mississippi, Central Mississippi, and South Mississippi. You can tell what's going on the coast. I mean, it's not hard to track what's happened in 7A and how many schools from Hattiesburg, Laurel down on the coast have become 6 and 7A schools. And what is it? Around 66% of the population is where I'm sitting and south in the state of Mississippi. But I think Jason's going to have to do some research and bring us some numbers tomorrow as far as, are we building more depth? And also, how has the portal impacted JUCO? Jason? Mississippi State is signing some JUCO. Now, over the last 40 years, Mississippi State and Ole Miss have made a ton of hay in the JUCO system. It's not what it was, so you got to be good, but there's still some good players. More players now than ever qualify, which is a good thing. We've come a long way from tumbleweeds and dirt roads and a rough around the edges society. And we got, more money than we've ever had in the state, and these pockets are booming. We need them to keep booming and keep going. But I want, is our top 10 better? Exponentially better? Is it than 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago?
Yeah, well,
are we getting I guess we're getting a more refined athlete. We're getting an athlete that works out a lot more, right? He's got another, I think I'm going low, 300 or 400 more workouts under his belt.
No doubt.
In a weight room. Probably more than that, the way that kids start really getting after it in maybe 7th grade, 8th grade. I'd like your thoughts on the Ag Up Equipment text line, 601-885-3776. Driven by your next John Deere tractor at Ag Up Equipment. Want to say good morning, welcome in. Whoa, almost lost my headset there. We'll have Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. He'll join us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line at 8:30. What are your thoughts on the transfer portal and recruiting? And tomorrow, signing day. And do we have better players? More depth? Where are we? What's the measuring stick? Also, the SEC Insider Hit this morning was brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. It is good to be blue. Good morning. Welcome in. Merry Christmas to you.